Hey there, it's good to be back. Missed our conversations about what's happening in Colorado. What's happening in Denver right now is that the city is trying to revive downtown by spending huge amounts of money on a series of projects. Our Mark Salinger takes a look.
The headlines in Denver lately are enough to give you whiplash. Talk of layoffs and budget cuts one day, yet massive spending and investments the next.
The city is facing challenging economic times, as most large cities are around the country. One of the reasons we're seeing that is a decline in sales tax revenue.
To understand why the mayor thinks we need to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to get us out of a $250 million deficit, you need to understand one of the reasons why the mayor thinks we got into this situation in the first place.
People are spending less and going out less.
So the city will spend to try and get people to spend again too. $175 million on the 16th Street Mall, $100 million on downtown revitalization, $70 million for a new soccer stadium. The money all comes from different places, but the list goes on.
You do have to invest in the growth that's going to drive more economic development to help restore that revenue. And so this is why we think it's important to not stand still in these moments. We do need to keep investing and keep growing.
The day after announcing that layoffs for city employees will begin later this month, the mayor stood at a press conference last week to announce $100 million worth of spending to bring people back downtown. The money comes from a fund totally separate from the city's general fund that's $250 million in the hole.
It's dollars that come from the taxes that are generated by the commercial activity that was built at Union Station.
This money has to go towards downtown development, and it will. Still, city employees will lose their jobs in 2 weeks. The bet is that these investments will stop more people from losing theirs in the future.
What this can do is help us drive up that sales tax revenue to make sure the city recovers strongly in the years ahead.
So the question now becomes how the layoffs that will start 2 weeks from today will impact the city's ability to sustain these investment projects. While we don't yet know how many people will lose their jobs or in which departments, it's fair to ask whether any of the impacted positions will also impact how fast these construction projects and investment projects can be completed, Kyle.
At any level of government, Mark, when there are cutbacks happening, people will either point to spending that they personally disagree with and say, well, what about that? Or they'll point to new projects like these and say, how can you spend money on something new and cut over here?
And the city has spent a lot of money over the last couple of years. Look at the migrant crisis, which they didn't get as much money back from the federal government as they thought. They also spent a ton of money on the Mayor Johnston's homelessness program. We don't even know exactly how many millions of dollars they spent on that. But you asked him a couple of days ago when you last spoke with him at his 2-year mark, does he regret spending these large sums of money? And the answer was no.
Answer was no, and no hesitation. All right, Mark Salinger, thanks for that. Thanks for filling in while I was gone.
Welcome back.